Hey there, Jazz. So I've been called many names like cheap and being frugal, but I do like myself some fancy stuff, and I did buy myself a new desk, not just any regular desk. I bought myself one of those fancy desks where you press a button and it goes up. So if you ever want to, stand up when you're editing, or you want to just stand up and read instead of sitting down because you're tired, I bought one of those tables, and I will say it was the best purchase ever. But I was able to do that with this 100 envelope challenge. And the crazy thing about that is I love to make money, I love to work, I love to invest my money and make it grow. But the most dreading thing for myself is always to figure out how to save money through my budget, because I'm already frugal to begin with. So to me, it's not something I want to do. So me doing this challenge was really good because it challenged me every single day to put money on the side. And even though it's between 1 through 100, it was still challenging when it was days like $98 or $75 per day. So it was one of those things where it was challenging, and I want to bring it to you because if you are someone who, like myself, wants to buy yourself either a car or a house, or you want to start investing, or you want to have an emergency fund, but you find saving to be extremely boring, I have found something that is worthwhile. Now, if you follow me on TikTok, I did make a very short version, but I wanted to break down exactly how I did it in this video, and of course, little tips on what you can do with those $5,000. Because if you're someone that already has, your $1,000 emergency fund, or you have your 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund, you most likely won't have that initiative to start saving money. But in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what you can do if you already have that emergency fund. But I will say that most Americans actually can't afford a $400 emergency fund. So if you have an emergency fund, high five. I'm just so proud of you. Most Americans don't do that. So now, if you're new to the channel, I do focus on making, saving, and growing your money. And I would be extremely grateful if you subscribed and hit the like button if I ended up bringing you any value. With that being said, let's get to it. Now, this challenge is by far really cheap. Like I said in the beginning, I've been called cheap and frugal. I like to see myself as more of a frugal person, but you can go to Walmart, and this envelope, it's 100 envelopes, right? It was $1.20 after taxes. Now, I will say this one thing. If you try to go to the dollar store, which I did, and I got this container, it was 3 for $1. It is way cheaper to buy your envelopes at Walmart, because at the dollar store, you can only get 30 to 50 envelopes for $1, and it's not worth it because then you have to buy two 50s, which is $2, and it's cheaper just to buy a Walmart. You see, this is why I'm called cheap. I'm just smart with my money. That's all. Okay, so what you want to do, and the whole concept is, with this 100, right? It's 100 days. Now, if you're someone who's living paycheck to paycheck and you can't afford to do this every single day, it's completely fine. What I want you to do is to challenge yourself every paycheck, whether it is bi-weekly or weekly, and just pull out one envelope. And to make it more fun, if you have any kids, any family members, a roommate, or even your spouse or partner, go ahead and challenge them. That way you guys can do this together. And I'm gonna go ahead and explain that too. But the whole concept, right, I'm gonna pull them out. It's just basically, you're gonna get 100 envelopes, and on each envelope, you're gonna write 1 through 100. And what you're gonna want to do is, of course, like shuffle them. And I was a little fancy, put them in green because it's a reminder of money in there, right? Like there's 62 right there. And once you shuffle them, right, shuffle them really good. You don't want many numbers together. Don't look at them. Always face them the other way so you're not cheating. You put them back into the box, right? We don't want to buy another container. That's wasting money when we have a box already right here. So you're gonna put them back into the container, right? And whether you're doing it every week or, by paycheck, whatever you're comfortable with, I would really recommend this to do this with someone else because it's so much fun. Imagine this, okay? Imagine if you and your partner are doing this, and then you pull out an envelope, and what is that? You have to pay $85, and you have to go ahead and put it in here, right? And then it's your partner's turn, and they go ahead and they pick out a random one. It's $30. So the crazy thing about this is that you guys are kind of anxious and have that adrenaline and dopamine kicking in because you really don't know what you're gonna get. Maybe your partner is only gonna pay $1 and you end up paying 100. So the cool thing about this is that you challenge yourself to save money, and it's fun. And it's one of those things where you guys can work together and be able to go ahead and hit some goals. Now, the whole reason for this container, right, is I don't want you to mix the ones that you already put money in with the ones that don't. So we want to use or reuse the actual container and just use this plastic one and put in, like, for example, this $5 one. I already have $5 in, like that. Put it in here, and to make it more challenging, right, so you guys don't cheat, go ahead and lick this and close it off and put it in here. And it's one way where you're gonna feel so satisfied once you've reached those $5,000, because in our head we only see 100 envelopes and we can't really understand how these 100 envelopes can make us $5,000. Now, if you already have an emergency fund, and I would really recommend for you to first, of course, save $1,000. And this comes from Dave Ramsey, and I love his whole concept of helping people with debt. I want you to save those $1,000 before anything, before paying off your debt. And the reason why $1,000 is so important, okay, let's say that you save those $5,000. Save those $1,000, because if you ever have your tire popped or your mom needs $400 or whatever the case is, you're not going to tap into any credit cards. You're not going to go ahead and ask a friend for it. You have those $1,000 for any type of emergency, right? And then, of course, and the second step that Dave Ramsey actually goes ahead and tells us to do is to pay off your debt through the snowball effect, right? So let's say that you have $4,000 after you saved your $5,000. Pay off your credit card debt. Now, he does say to do the snowball. The snowball effect just promotes us psychologically to continue to pay off our debt, because we start off with the smallest debt. For example, credit cards versus your mortgage, right? Credit cards, your student loans, any car loans, and then your mortgage. They promote it in a way where, because you start small, you create the snowball where it keeps going and growing, where you're able to actually pay off your mortgage. And I completely love that whole concept. But you do whatever you want, whether you pay the one with the lowest debt, you can start there, or you can pay the one who you're paying the most interest. Like, for example, maybe on your credit card, you're paying 27% interest versus your mortgage, you're only paying 4%. So it's whatever you want to start off with. I personally would do the one with the most interest, only because that is basically eating up my money, versus the psychological one, which is someone who has difficulty with emotional problems with money, meaning that you're very impulsive, or whenever you do get anxious or you are having a bad day, you go ahead and go to the store, and that makes you feel better, right? So I do whatever makes you feel comfortable. But the cool thing after that is that you can start investing. Personally, I invest with M1 Finance and Robinhood. I do have some links down below if you want to use them if you don't have an account. I mainly use M1 Finance for my index funds and ETFs. I believe I'm moderate. They already have some established accounts, and I am moderate. And I mainly just focus on index funds and ETFs, like VOO, any Vanguard index funds, and all that good jazz. But I would recommend for you to start investing in yourself. Like, for example, if you want to become a real estate agent, you want to go to school, or you simply want to learn how to start investing into real estate, start investing into books and courses. That way, you always have this cool challenge. You always have this cool challenge where if you ever need money, this is such a great, exciting way to do it, right? So I would go ahead and use this as your way, your leverage to be able to save money and not feel anything, right? Because you're doing it day by day or paycheck by paycheck. Now, personally, I use this challenge to be able to pay for a fancy table. Did I need that fancy table? Could I purchase something cheaper like this table? Yes, but that is the whole reason why I did the challenge, is because yes, it did take effort. I had to work extra. I had to sacrifice things, like, for example, going out to eat. I love sushi, and I ended up not eating sushi for the main fact that I wanted my table, right? So whatever you want to purchase, just know that this is such a great way for you to start, for you to actually get this accomplished, because I for sure am a financial lover. I love everything about finance. I want to continuously learn how to help you guys make more money and save it. But in reality, I know how boring. It's really boring and dry to just try to save money, right? And it feels horrible because you're trying to, get yourself so tight with your budget that you end up feeling like you're left out, FOMO and all that good jazz. So the fact that you challenge yourself through this challenge is a great way for you to actually accomplish any goals that you have, especially any student loan debt or any credit card debt. And like this is right here. This right here is a gold nugget. And it's a great way for you to continuously do this and bond with any partner or spouse, because it is quite hard. Now, I did post a short version on how to do this on my TikTok. If you go ahead and follow me at me.jazz, I do have a whole little 1-minute clip on how to do this. So if you ever forget, you can go follow me there, download it, and then that way you can go ahead and just have it there in case you want to show your spouse or you end up wanting to show your friends if this works for you. This worked for me. I was able to buy my table with no problem. But like I said before, if you want to do this challenge 100 days or you want to do it every check, it's whatever you're comfortable with. Don't compare your results to mine or anyone else's. You are still saving money. That is the main goal, whether you do it 100 days, half a year, or a full year. Just know that be consistent and eventually you'll have your $5,000. Now, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, but most importantly, always remember, be someone that makes you happy.